Good Monday morning, everybody. First, let me say that I apologize for not doing a video yesterday. It's just very difficult to do videos while I am at my son's house. The data here is horrible, and it's very difficult. I'm sorry. This tripod, and this is the new one that I bought, and it still just sucks. I think it's just the brand. Still sliding constantly. And one of the legs is like wobbly. Oh well. Anyway, I'm outside the library, and they have a garden outside in the library building. Oh, see, it's sliding again. Shoot. Ugh. I just can't win with this thing. Stop sliding. Alright, I'm just going to hold it in my hand. Sheesh. Alright, so the library building is right here. But they have this garden with a gazebo and several benches and everything on the outside. So, okay, apologizing for not making the video yesterday. So, data here, where my son lives, the particular place where he lives, it's beyond a snail's pace, like so slow. So it takes sometimes 6 hours for one 10-minute video to upload. So yesterday was kind of a lazy day. I didn't do much of anything, and I didn't feel like driving over here to the library, which was closed, to use their Wi-Fi to upload a video. So I didn't bother doing one yesterday. I just didn't, and I didn't do anything all day yesterday, so there was really nothing to talk about anyway. So I came here this morning. It's about 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit after 9, and the library opens at 9, so I just decided to sit out here and do this one video. But, yeah, so that's that. I don't have much going on. I did find this little thing. Hold on, let me see if this will act right, if I can put you down for a minute, so I can use both my hands. Ugh. I know someone commented about my wobbly video. Sorry. This is what you get when you get me. My caption does say the good, the bad, and the ugly of my van dwelling journey. I'm not using fancy equipment here. It's a $15 tripod thingy with a broken leg from Walmart, so I do the best I can. You're not going to get commercial TV ready-made videos from me. You're not going to get super edited music and intros. You're not going to get all that with me. That's just not who I am. I'm taking you along the ride for my journey. Alright, so I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's a map. It's 60 pieces. I could not find the placemat they used to make, and my son had one, and you used to be able to find them at Dollar Tree, Walmart, Target, but I have not been able to find one for the last few months. But they used to make placemats with the United States on them, and it had the state and the capital. I've been looking for the last few months, and I can't find any, and I thought surely with back to school there would be some. Alas, I have had no luck. So anyway, I found this puzzle at the Dollar Tree for $1, so I figured, it's $1. So I'm going to put the puzzle together, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some clear packing tape on the bottom and Mod Podge the top of it. And then I think what I'll do is put stick pins in the states that I've visited while doing my van dwelling journey. So I've only lived in 2 states my whole 46 years. Virginia and Iowa. Now, Iowa's a little bit of a story, so I'll tell you how I ended up in Iowa for not quite 2 years. So, my son's father, who at the time when we met and had him, we weren't married. So January 95, we had our son, and it was about March of 95 when he got the call from a friend of his that he went to college with to come back and finish his degree. I think he had another year or so of school. I don't remember, honestly. It was a long time ago. So his friend was, I guess, the minority recruiter or something like that at Iowa State University, which is in Ames, Iowa, small town, college town. And he was 24 and I was 23, and we had just had a baby in January. He said he wanted to go. So I had this brand new baby whose father was about to leave from Virginia and go to Iowa, who I knew I would never be able to see on the weekends or anything like that because it's too far. And he inquired about, okay, well, if you guys come with me, let me inquire about where we're going to live, what we're going to do. So he inquired with his friend who was there about some kind of housing. They had campus housing, but you had to be married. So this was March. So we got married in April, and then we left. Pretty much a week after we got married at the Justice of the Peace, no wedding. So we went to Iowa, and I was miserable the entire time. My husband was going to school, he was working, he was reliving some of his college glory days, hanging out with friends instead of coming home. So I was miserable. I had no friends, I had no family, I had no one and a brand new baby. And you know, when you have a baby, it takes a while for your hormones to get back in, so I was an emotional mess. So that didn't turn out so well. So we planned a trip. I think after our first year there, we planned a trip to come back to Virginia for me to see my family, my mom and sister, really. So my mom was living in an apartment at the time that had a big space you could use as like the party room, the rec room or whatever. And so she threw a big little welcome home / late birthday, 1-year birthday party for my son, because we went in the spring and he was born in January. So all the family came and they got to see my son, because most of them had never seen him. So they got to see my son and spend some time with us. And so we were supposed to stay for, I think, 4 or 5 days. I decided not to go back. So my husband went back. He had to go to school. He had to go for, school and work and all that. So I stayed, and I ended up staying, I want to say, like a month. And I didn't want to go back at all. But we talked on the phone a lot, and so we decided that things were going to change and da-da-da-da-da. So I went back, and when I went back, things were good for a little while, a few months, 4 or 5 months maybe, well, maybe less than that, maybe 2-3 months. Again, kind of same thing. There was no real effort to be 100% husband and father. It was more 100% student, and he got a job at night working on the radio. I guess campus radio maybe, I don't know. And this one particular time, and I would listen, it was a late night, and I would listen, I wouldn't listen to all the hours he was there, but I would listen to the first couple hours while he was on the air. And there was this one particular time where he had 2 girls in the station with him, and they had nothing to do with anything. And there was some flirtatious behavior going on, and I wasn't cool with that. So yeah, after that, things just kind of escalated. There's many things I could say, but I'm not going to. That's not the point of this video, is not to bash anybody. We just probably never should have got married. I probably should have just let him go into Iowa and try and be the best father he could be from a distance, because once we separated, he ended up joining the military anyway. So, and he was, not around as much as he could have been, his choice, but, whatever. So, yeah, so that's my story of living in Iowa. So I came back home March 18th, 1997. So my son was 2, and I haven't looked back. I've been in Virginia ever since. So Virginia's my home. I was born in D.C., but I never lived in D.C., raised in Virginia my whole entire life. So, except I think maybe from little bits of snippets of stories that I've heard. I think maybe I spent 1 year in a DC foster care, but I'm not sure. My mom was very young when she had me, and home life, you know, not the greatest, but she was 17, almost 18. She had me in May. She turned 18 in August, but she had nowhere to go with me. She had no place of her own, so I think I spent like a year or so in foster care, from what I've heard growing up. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, Virginia's my home, and I have visited Florida. I have visited Block Island before. When I was graduated in 1990, my aunt, the youngest of the 5 girls, that my grandmother had 10 kids, 5 boys and 5 girls, so the youngest of the 5 girls, my Aunt Diane, who has since passed, we had a trip that we took up to, for my graduation gift. We took a train, my mom, my aunt, me and my sister, my younger sister, I have a younger sister, took a train up to Rhode Island, caught the ferry over to Block Island, because my aunt was living on Block Island at the time, which is another reason why I want to go visit Rhode Island and Block Island, I didn't get to see her before she died, so I didn't even know she was sick until it was too late. By the time I found out she was sick, she was basically passing. She was in hospice, and I couldn't get down to Miami, Florida to see her before she passed. So yeah, my family is not so great about that kind of a thing, passing on information. It had been years since I had talked to most of my family anyway, long, many years. And so anyway, by the time I reached out and started reconnecting with family, I found out that she was very ill. So I actually didn't find out she was very ill until the very last couple days. They said she had been sick, and that's all it was. Nobody explained to me the sickness was not something she was not going to recover from. And so the last couple of days of her life is when I found out how serious the sickness was. So it's very unfortunate, because had I known, I would have made an effort to drive down or catch a train down and see her one last time. She's one really of the 10 kids. She's really the only one who's really like traveled and lived somewhere other than Virginia, really. So anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's end this on a better note. So I'm going to go into the library. I'm going to do some t-shirts for Teespring. Speaking of t-shirts, I want to thank... you like that shirt? This was a gift from the van-dwelling woman that I met up with in Virginia Beach area this last week, Sierra. And you can find her on Instagram, and I'm hoping I'll get this right. Double check the description box in case I don't get this right. Sierra Night Tide. Night like good night, and Tide, T-I-D-E. Sierra Night Tide on Instagram. She's a really cool chick. The only reason I didn't do an interview with her in her van is because she was in the middle of doing a whole big revamp, and it wasn't quite ready to be shown on camera. She is downsizing her stuff and redoing her bed, and so she had a lot going on in her van, so I didn't do a interview and a walkthrough tour of her van with her. Maybe if we meet up again, I'll be able to. I'm hoping and wishing her good luck for getting rid of all her stuff and selling it and making a little money and being able to redo her bed. I know that was a big deal for her to get the bed redone, to be more comfortable, and to be her space to be used more wisely. It's a never-ending thing when you're a van dweller. How can I use my space more wisely? How can I, bed is key for comfort. The first thing you worry about is a comfortable bed, because if you don't sleep well at night, it's not going to matter what anything else has going on in your van. You can always get rid of stuff. There's always too much stuff in a van, just like most people have too much stuff in their home. We just, as people, as humans, just have too much stuff. We tend to just have way more than we need. And there's always a, but I might need this kind of situation, and that usually never happens. So, yeah. I would love to find some shelves for the back of my van. I think I mentioned that in the last video. Someone else was saying that I should stick with bags and stuff. I don't personally like bags. I don't like pulling through bags and unzipping bags, and I'd rather have stuff on shelves that I can just pull it off the shelf and be done with it and stick it back on the shelf. But that's neither here nor there. Everybody has their way of doing things. I would like to be able, and this is for Life of Los and Dr. Jimmy Juices, I would like to have my bed lift up like I was originally planning, but couldn't quite figure out how to do it on my limited budget. Maybe when I get to Arizona for the van build, I can figure that, have someone help me figure that out. I know I can do it by myself, just going and getting the wood cut at Home Depot, and I can put it together. I'm having a hard time figuring out the frame, you know, how much wood am I going to need for the frame. So if someone could maybe help me with that, I'll figure it out. Because I don't want to waste money getting wood cut so many different times. So, what else? I think that's it. I don't have much to talk about. I am going to be doing some videos after VEDA is done, where I am reading some stories. I'm going to do, well, no, actually, it'll probably be during VEDA, because I have to do it before I leave. So I'm going to do one video where it's just me reading stories to my grandbaby, because it's going to be a long time before I see her again. Like I said, I'm going to spend most of September going up north, and then I'm heading to Arizona after that in October. The last week of September, somewhere between the last week of September and the first week of October, I'm heading to Arizona. So I think I'm going to stay in Arizona from, I mean, that's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's like 8 months. I'm not going to see her again. She'll almost be 2 by the time I see her again, and she just turned 1. So I'm going to read about 4 stories to her in one video, so they can play the video for her, and I'll be reading her books, and so she can have her book and hear and see me read to her, because I don't know if I'm going to come back in the winter for a visit. I just don't think I'm going to chance traveling all the way across in the winter time. So yeah, so I will, I think when I start my descent from Maine back down, I think I will try and do at least a couple-day visit with them in September, the end of September, beginning of October, before I head. So at least I'll get like 2 days with them before I head back over. And probably as soon as I get to Arizona, I'm going to be looking for a job. It doesn't seem like the t-shirt business is working for me, and that's fine. I mean, it was worth a try. But, and I know people just don't have money like that, so it's fine, it's cool. If someone wants to do Patreon and support my channel, that's cool too. If you can't, I understand. It's not a big deal. No pressure. But I'm probably going to get a part-time job as soon as I get to Arizona. So, and that's fine and good. If I find something online I can do, that's fine too. I'll check Craigslist and all that stuff when I get to Arizona and see what's going on out there. So, it'll work itself out. It will always work itself out. My biggest thing is I can't do anything too physical, so that kind of leaves out all those jobs that are like harvest jobs and the Amazon jobs. I can't do those things. I can't, my body wouldn't survive a week, let alone a whole season. So yeah, I can't do any of that physical stuff just because of my joints and all that. Impossible. So, and I've never pursued getting disability or anything, even though I probably could get disability for mental health, just because I do have bipolar 2 disorder. I've stopped taking my medicine now with my doctor's approval. But you never know when I might have to go back on it. So anyway, we'll see. If it's something I should pursue or not, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of young. I don't know how that whole, I've never dealt with disability or anything. I have no idea how that process works. Maybe I'll look into it. So I'm going to end the video here, and because I need to do another video, I got the questions from those few people who did email me. Thank you. Got last minute emails yesterday and the day before. So I do have some questions that I can answer in my Q&A video, which will be uploaded in the next 2 to 3 days. So look for that. And yeah, I'm going to go in the library, get some work done, and figure out my situation for the next couple of months. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.